In my view, we've already waited too long to deal with this climate crisis. We can't wait any longer. We're going to review and reset the oil and gas leasing program. We're not going to ban fracking. We'll protect jobs and grow jobs.
President Biden promising more jobs for American energy workers, created through his sweeping climate change agenda.
So far, it seems to focus more on what workers can't do rather than opening up new opportunities. Ann Bradbury, CEO of the American Exploration and Production Council, joins us live with her predictions for the future of the entire energy industry. Ann, thanks so much for being here. We're going to get into jobs in a moment. We've been talking about jobs the entire time with regard to the energy industry. But I want to focus on the macro view first. Do the American people truly appreciate the impact on how much it's going to cost them more to drive their car, how much more it's going to cost them to heat their home based upon what Biden is proposing to do?
You know, that's a great question. And first of all, good morning, and thanks for having me on this morning. You know, the American energy industry is the industry that brought this country not just energy security, but economic security. And because of this industry, cost to American families for their energy consumption has stayed historically low, while cost for every other household good has increased over the last decade exponentially. And so anytime you are restricting production, which is supply, and doing nothing to demand, it is a formula for increasing costs, and doing so in the middle of a pandemic is hugely concerning, not just to us, but should be to every American family.
I want to get your reaction to this. This is a Texas Democrat, Representative Vicente Gonzalez, who led a group of Republican lawmakers requesting President Biden, rescind this executive order banning responsible energy leasing on federal lands and waters. And this reads, quote, and there were a series of tweets, but this says, we are deeply concerned about the implications of this executive order in the short term, given the impact of COVID-19 on local economies, including the loss of jobs, increased budget shortfalls, and weakening of the U.S. national security as it pertains to American energy independence. He goes on to say Texas, particularly in the 15th district, has been ravaged by the coronavirus, and this recent executive order will hurt an already suffering community. What does it say to you that you have people on both sides of the aisle? Now, granted, not as many Democrats, certainly, as Republicans, but you still have Democrats who are from Texas saying this is not going to work for our workers right now. This is not going to work for the people of Texas.
That's exactly right. I mean, energy is not a partisan issue. Energy, American oil and gas fuels every part of our everyday lives, and this should not be a partisan issue. And it's unfortunate that the Biden administration seems to view climate progress and energy production as mutually exclusive. And the fact is, we can have both. And, you know, Republicans and Democrats from Texas and oil and gas producing states know this better than anyone. The United States is a world leader in reducing emissions. So putting forth policies that just move our production overseas, make us more reliant on foreign sources and less regulated sources, makes absolutely no sense now more than ever.
I mean, look, everybody wants clean water. Everybody wants clean air. My family was hit by a hurricane. I get it. I'm not saying it's not an issue, but based upon your research, will any of these moves really help the environment in a tangible way, specifically if we don't get the international community like China, like India, to do their part?
That's exactly right. I mean, climate is a global problem. Emissions are a global issue. Energy is a global commodity, and focusing and penalizing the U.S. oil and gas industry will actually have the exact opposite effect that the Biden administration claims it will have. It will move production overseas to where it is less highly regulated at the point of production. Meanwhile, India, China are still overwhelmingly reliant on coal for their energy sources, and that is growing, not diminishing. The United States, because of the abundant natural gas produced here, has led the world in emissions reductions. We should be building on that progress, not tying our hands.
Ann Bradbury, great insight. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good day.
Thanks, Ann.